Hey there. So I'm going to show you guys how to put a pull start on a Motobi cane today. Kind of the reason I'm doing this is I no longer have pedals on my moped, and I'm running a clutch pulley and the clutchless Doppler variator, and so I've got to run my ass off to get this thing started and like jam cardboard into the variator so it gets grip and stuff. And I've got to use the decomp on the head pretty much to start it. I'd like to run ahead with no decomp, so I think this is the ticket. So here is the ignition I'm running. It's the MVT Premium, and I'll show you the pull start I'm going to put on here. So here's the pull start I picked up. I basically just kind of Googled around and did like 50cc small engine pull start and stuff, and I came across this one. It's a cheap Chinese deal. I think it's actually for a GS Moon pocket bike, whatever that is. I'm sure it's shitty, whatever it is, but that's what I got. And here's the starter pawl. You can see it's got a nut in the middle and these two teeth on the sides. And just to kind of show you how this guy works, there's this little rotating piece in the middle here, and when you pull it, there's a ramp right there, and it'll go up, and so that'll make contact with these teeth here on the pawl. Turn the crank over, turn the engine over, vroom vroom, I'm off to the races. Once it starts, if the engine spins faster than the center piece, it just knocks them down the ramp, and it'll spin freely then. So back to the ignition. So right now I have the Doppler Endurance crank in here, and unlike the stock Mobi crank, which is a left-hand thread, the Doppler Endurance is a right-hand thread, and it uses an 11 millimeter with a 1 millimeter pitch nut on here, which are surprisingly almost non-existent. So it's the same deal on the other side. So I'm running a Doppler variator nut on both sides of the crank. So that's what I've been using up till now. I've got something different, which I'll show you in a second, but just pull this off. This is an internal rotor setup. There's two, I've already taken it out, but there's two Allen bolts that go through here, and that allows you to kind of fine-tune the timing by hand. And I kind of wanted to retain that functionality, so I could put a plate here, mount the pull start on the plate, and put the pawl on the crank, but I'm going to do it a little different, so let me just yank all this crap out of here. So this will come off, and then I've got this little stator plate deal, or just a plate, I guess, that mounts to the engine via these two holes. And so I'm just going to kind of piggyback this. I'm going to put a plate, just a thin piece of sheet metal back here. I'm going to cut a hole around this guy and just use these same nuts that this plate's using. Put that on there. Then it'll sit behind here. And then I'll have some holes, oops, in the plate to hold the other plate on the front, which is going to hold the pull start and stuff. So this nut piece, this isn't going to work with the pawl, because if I mount it on top, it'll stick into the pull start. So here's what I got going on. Okay, so here's how I plan on rigging up the pawl. These macroize this. You see there's a couple welds holding this nut into the center of the pawl. I'm just going to zip these off with a grinder, pop that out. Then I'm going to drill this out with a bit big enough. I'm not sure what size is right yet, but something big enough so I can fit the threads of the crank through there. And then I found this guy. This is a 11 millimeter nut, and I found that Toyota actually used these on some of their older Supras and stuff. You can get them at your local Toyota dealership. They might have to order them, but you'll get them in like a day or two. But there's that, and so I'm gonna just replace that nut I'm zipping out with this guy, and then that'll just get mounted on the edge of the crankshaft, and will take the place of that Doppler variator nut. So while I'm at it, I'm going to go over some of the other stuff I've got assembled. I had some sheet metal on hand, so I just kind of roughed out two pieces. They're basically 4.5, somewhat square, and got some 3.5-inch, 1/4-inch machine screws, some lock washers and stuff. And then I bought like this long piece of 1/4-inch PVC pipe because it was like $1.50, and I'm going to use that as spacers so I can get the distance dialed in so that those rods in the pull start are at the right height, so they grab the pawl when it's pulled, but they'll move past it when it's retracted. So got that. So one of these guys is going to get the pull start mounted on it. I'm going to zip a hole in the center of each of these. This is going to go here. This guy will go on the engine. Hole gets zipped out. I'll drill 2 holes here so I can mount it to the case. I'm going to zip holes here, 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 and here on both the top and the bottom for the screws. And so that's it. I'm going to kind of start working on this now. And there you go. That's my finished pull start. You can see how I kind of rigged it up with the plates and the spacers and stuff. I don't know. I don't think it looks that pretty. I'll probably end up doing some sort of different enclosure long term, but at least I know the spacing and all that stuff now. But you can see, I'll just pull this slowly, but you can kind of hear the engine turning over. And then when I let go, it returns. So, yay. Thanks for watching. Bye.